Hello, I am shooting a video as I leave I-75 and drive to this property at 12425 Bramfield. So what I just took was, I took the Riverview exit. It's like the South Riverview exit. If you were to go this way, you'd be heading to Apollo Beach. And if you go this way, you're in Riverview. So this is the Riverview really has two exits, and this is the more southern Riverview exit. There's a lot booming here. First off, from this exit to this property is 4 miles. Right now you can see we're at 3.4 miles since I took the exit, but it's basically about 4 miles to the highway, 3.5 to 4 miles. So this area is really, really booming. There's a brand new hospital right after this traffic light. Just maybe it's been open a year, 2 years, something like that. So that's definitely showing growth. There's been rumors of a mall for years, but I don't know if it'll happen. There's also been rumors of them building a lagoon, some type of outdoor, I don't know if they want to call it a pool or some type of oasis of a place that people can go to enjoy outdoor swimming and recreation without driving all the way to the ocean. So they built one up in Wesley Chapel, and they're supposed to do one here in Riverview. I just don't know if that's taken place. I had once heard that they were trying to figure out how to keep the wildlife out of the water, and that's the last time I heard an article or story on it, maybe a year ago. Alright, so anyway, the reason I'm shooting this video is just to give you a little perspective of where this house is in relation to the commercial stuff. So you can see there's the entrance to the hospital back there, brand new. So that's had a lot, a lot of nurses and doctors and other professions in the field have also moved to the area. This road that I'm on is called Big Bend Road, and it's a very commercialized road. Some of these strip malls are new, some is old. Now the intersection I'm coming up to is called 301. Now 301, US 301 goes north and south, just like the highway system, but of course there's traffic lights and it's very commercialized. And we're gonna cross right over. Actually, we're gonna take a left on 301 and head up the highway, or head up US 301 just for a short distance. Now, like I said, we're in Riverview. If you were to take a right where that dump truck is going and go down that road for maybe 2 minutes, you'll hit Ruskin. Ruskin is really, really close to Riverview. Once you get to Ruskin, it gets a little more rural. You get a little bit more for your money because you get a little further away from all this traffic and all this commercial. So, Riverview that's up against, or I'm sorry, Ruskin that's up against Riverview feels like you're in Riverview and you get those amenities. But then as you go further into Ruskin, it does become more remote. It's almost like there's patches of new subdivisions and then patches of cows and livestock and fields. Nothing crazy or shady. It just doesn't have all of the commercial that Riverview has. So Riverview is kind of becoming almost like a hub to this area for where the commercial is. If you were to go up the highway about 15 minutes, you would hit Brandon. You can either take this road right here, US 301, it'll run you right into Brandon, or you can take the highway system. And Brandon has its own mall. Brandon also is where you can connect to the we call it the crosstown. It's a toll road, takes you right into the heart of Tampa. So there's a toll road that goes from Brandon to the heart of Tampa. About a 15-minute ride. Usually it's pretty low traffic because it's a toll road, and Brandon's kind of the spot where you can connect. So if you lived here, you would basically go up north to the Brandon area and then take the toll road down into Tampa. Maybe a total of 40 minutes, 45 minutes. Depends on the traffic. 25 minutes at best. An hour at worst. You know, give or take 20 to 30 minutes with the traffic and the time of day you do it. Now this traffic light can sometimes take a few minutes because it's such a vital road for both sides. But anyway, we just got our green light. Now we're only 2 miles away from the property, so the commercial amenities that this house would have is going to be all right around here. In here is Publix. So Publix is our largest grocery store. There is a couple other chains like Winn-Dixie. There might even be a third one, but Publix is really the more dominant grocery store, and that's only about 2 miles. As a matter of fact, there's a new Publix going north of this property. This property that we're going to be going to, it's in Panther Trace. Panther Trace is a really, really big subdivision. It's probably been around about 10, 12 years. It might be longer. It might be closer to 20 years than I think about it. And Panther Trace really was here before a lot of this commercial has come. It's been one of the frontiers. It's a nice subdivision. That's where this house is located, Panther Trace. And there is a new Publix and a new shopping center just north of Panther Trace, just as this one is just south. So it's basically both sides. But for years, people who live in Panther Trace were coming south down to where we just were to go to the grocery store. Now, up here on the right is, we're about to start Panther Trace. It's a really big subdivision. On the left, we have South Point and also Avalar Creek. This is Avalar Creek. It's small. And then we have South Point, which is it's a bigger subdivision. You can see South Point and Panther Trace is on the signs. So Panther Trace is actually 2 signals, 2 lights, if I'm not mistaken. But we're going to take this first one right here to go into this property. Yeah, Panther Trace is so big that there was probably at least 4 or 5 builders in here. Some subdivisions are so small that one builder, one developer buys it and develops it and sells everything. And Panther Trace was big enough that it was several phases, several builders. So you really have a whole mix of layouts and floor plans in this subdivision, just because of so many different builders got into here. Now within Panther Trace, there's lots of small little subdivisions, like that's called Greystone. So lots of little ones like that. I don't know them by name per se. There's probably a dozen just like that one. And then also Panther Trace has a lot of common area. You can see here, Panther Trace has, there's a school system here in Panther Trace. It has public pools and workout areas. You can see right here, this is all part of the public. You can see I'm distracted as I'm driving, but right here, that's some type of a club amenity there. There's playgrounds. There might be a pool there. So there's definitely some stuff on the premises that you get when you live in Panther Trace. You can see a tennis court here on this side. And now we're going to go into Hawthorne. So we're going to check out Hawthorne here. So as I understand it, this house is vacant. This is the house. I'm just going to do a little quick drive-by of the neighborhood while we're here, just to let you give you a little perspective of what it looks like. I mean, as you can see, Panther Trace is very safe, middle class. You know, everyone takes care of their properties. There is an HOA, so therefore there are deed restrictions. There's certain things you can't do. I can get you a copy of that if you'd like, but it's usually nothing too crazy. You know, no boats, no RVs. It's pretty common. Things that might bring down your property value. No parking on the lawn. Possibly no street parking. I have seen some strict HOAs. I've seen no flags unless it's the United States or the Army, or I should say the military. I've seen that. I'm not saying this place, but I've seen that. Or they make you paint your house every so many years, or they make you pressure wash your driveway. You know, they're doing it to protect the value, but some places can be over the top. They want to, of course, make sure your lawn doesn't get out of control. Things like that. And like I said, I can get you or ask for the covenants of this subdivision if this is a house of interest. But anyway, I'm circling back around so that I can go inside the property. I'll shoot a separate video of the actual walkthrough of the property. But just want to give you a little perspective of the location. This house was built in 2004, 2 days on the market, 4 bedrooms and 3 full baths. Does have the community pool, so it's not a pool to the house, but you have the community pool. Your HOA, it's only $60 a year, but there is a CDD. It's a Community Development District, CDD. So there is one in here. Community Development District, it is part of your tax bill. So it does make your taxes seem high. This one actually does not look high. You can see the CDD is right there, $27.45, and your taxes are at $4,000. Taxes are generally about 1.5% of the purchase price. So a $300,000 house, you might pay taxes close to $5,000. So $4,000. It tells me 2 things. It tells me that they may not have included the CDD, so collectively you might be about $6,800 if you add the 2 together. This property is not homesteaded, you can see. So of course you would homestead it. That means you're saying that you live here permanently, and you're here at least 7 months out of the year. You would get a discount on your tax bill. The way that works is there is a tax value and a real value. The tax value is always less than the real value. So let's say you buy this house for $275. The tax value might be $225, which is not a bad thing, because if your tax value is $225 and you homestead, the first $50,000 of value you don't pay. So it's like you're paying taxes on $175 instead of $225, which is almost a 25% discount. This one is not homesteaded. They may have been renting it out. You're not supposed to homestead a property you rent, so that might be the reason. So if you bought the house, you basically would write out the rest of their tax bill, which is not that high, and then next year it would kick into your tax bill. But anyway, I can go over that in further detail if there's questions. I'm going to shoot a video of the inside of the house and go from there.